Hello and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave and today we are looking at Jeleniowaty's old school Handlock. For those of you who have maybe only started playing Hearthstone in the most recent year or so, Handlock was one of the big decks when the game just started, focusing around the Warlock hero power of life tap to lose some life and draw a card, and the immense power of Mountain Giant. And we see that today represented in decks like Evenlock, where they're going to try and life tap the first couple of turns and drop a turn 3 or a turn 4 Mountain Giant. But this is kind of what that deck looked like back in Classic. In fact, looking at this deck, the only cards that aren't from the Classic and base set are Kobold Librarian, Defile, Vulgar Homunculus, Hooked Reaver, and Lesser Amethyst Spellstone. Every other card is old school. So what we're going to do is try and draw some cards early on, find out a lot of our pieces, and then we're going to control the board with things like Hellfire and Defile. And rather than end the game with Gul'dan, Jeleniowatyy has actually got Jaraxxus in here. So we're going to get to see how Jaraxxus goes as a win condition compared to Gul'dan. I think in this kind of list, the pluses are that Jaraxxus doesn't rely on having to have a big graveyard full of demons. In fact, we don't have any Doom Guards. The only demons we have in here are the Hooked Reavers and the Vulgar Homunculuses, which are not necessarily the greatest things to bring back. Unfortunately, unlike Gul'dan, the hero power that you get does not immediately impact the board. We're going to have to rely on the weapon that Jaraxxus gives us. So we'll kind of get to see how those two compare and see if see which ones are better. So other than that, lots of typical pieces. We've got the Ancient Watchers in here, which we're going to combine with Defender of Argus to give taunt, give like a big body that our opponent has to deal with. And really slows down the board there. We've got Twilight Drakes as this great mid-range threat. Comes down, usually has 7, 8, 9 toughness. Lets us compete on the board pretty well. Shadow Flame is an extra board sweeper. Goes quite well with things like Ancient Watcher. And it only hits enemy minions, which is a little bit of an advantage over Hellfire. And just the one Siphon Soul in here for targeted removal. Alexstrasza, I guess a bit of flexibility here, can potentially heal us, or if we are playing the really control role in the early game, Alexstrasza comes down and means that it's not going to take us, if we get to the stage where we have to kill our opponent, it's not going to take us, like 5 turns to deal 30. It might only take 2 turns to deal 15. So yeah, let's jump into some games and see how we go. Alright, we're here with Jeleniowaty's classic Handlock. I think we're happy to keep these. Combine well together. But especially if this is we're up against like Evenlock, we're gonna want to
we have turned our curse into our
find some stuff that does a bit better in the first couple of turns. Right, if our opponent has a turn 4 Mountain Giant. 2, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, okay. If they have a turn 4 Mountain Giant, we will have a fully powered up Spellstone. We can trade a Vulgar Homunculus and a Spellstone for it. So we're going to want to do that instead of tapping up.
The end is coming!
I guess we will tap. Maybe our opponent thinks we're on aggro. Do have 2 Spellbreakers in this list, which is very tasty. We have our Jiraxxus, which we might get a chance to land before our opponent plays.
Your magic shall
Gul'dan.
not save.
No, not Lanny. So hopefully they overreact to this Ancient Watcher, but even if they don't, we have the Defender of Argus. What do we want to save this Siphon Soul for? Maybe like a Lich King, maybe a Mountain Giant.
Greatest strength.
Oh. A Mountain Giant all of my own.
My shield for Argus.
Yeah, the Spellbreaker is giving our opponent a lot of position on board, and just the way that the kind of stats have fallen down with the 5 toughness minions, so quite difficult for us to get back in.
Your moonlit shadows rise to meet you.
Glinda. I wonder if Glinda's just in there to be a, like, to make people react like that. I mean, yeah, like, Kobold Librarians with Echo is kind of interesting. Oh, but you can't play Kobold Librarian even. So what are you playing?
I wonder.
What 2-drop are you echoing off? Ciao.
So many possibilities.
It was pretty tempting to go face there, but I think we want to try and get this Jiraxxus out with as little on board as possible. That's the opposite of as little on board as possible. Ugh. Cobalt Librarian might actually be the MVP, depending on if our opponent like has cooldown here. It might actually set up our defiles really well. Whew. We've tapped a lot more than our opponent. We really need to get this Jiraxis down.
I wonder.
Well, if we go hook like Mountain Giant Hooked Reaver, we die to a Silence. They've already played one. We can Jiraxis, and we die to double Hellfire.
Almost out of time. You face Jiraxis, Eldar Lord of the Burning Legion.
We just have to hope that next turn our sweepers line up a bit better. The healing that Gul'dan gives you is just so unbelievable. Blood Reaver, that is.
Pitiful mortal.
Shields up!
How shall I destroy you?
We can silence this to make a 1.
I wonder.
No, I don't think we can do anything, team.
Runs out.
Your magic shall not save you.
Yeah. Our opponent had the they sequenced their threats really well. You know, it's like from turn 6 onwards, they were basically dropping a big body every turn. So figured it out. Alright, I'm back with another. Okay. It's Jaina.
Your soul shall be mine.
I don't think Mortal Coil lines up very well with. Yeah, I guess we can keep this on the coin as well, like Homunculus as well. So this is good. Like the Ancient Watch is pretty good if they're on control. It's a little bit slower. Homunculus is better if they, you know, play a turn 1 mana worm. Turn 1 mana worm. It's really good if our opponent plays a turn 1 mana worm. But they didn't. So how does Jaraxxus line up against Frostlich Jaina? Wow, even the words coming out of my mouth are just like, it doesn't line up very well. Is the chat working? Looks like the chat is working.
I wonder.
HD Levs. Ooh. Looks like we're in for a long one. And a long one that probably ends with us getting blown out by a bunch of water elementals. Just so quiet? Yeah, it's usually pretty quiet in here. People usually at work, chilling out, just watching on the side. So we usually keep things pretty low key. Feel free to fire away any questions you've got. Or just let us know how your day's going.
Need a key?
First time catching a stream. Oh, have you, is it first time catching any stream, like whatsoever, or first time catching this stream here? Always watch the YouTube vids. Oh, well, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
My shield for Argus.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm glad you've been watching the YouTube videos. I know that the majority of the audience that I have is kind of on US time, so it means that streaming at that kind of time of day doesn't always, at the time of day that I stream, doesn't always work out, but don't really want a Spellbreaker here if they're going to have a Flame Strike coming up the turn after, so I think we'll just tap and Shadow Bolt. Damage. Blizzard obviously is pretty good. Been a fan for months. That's awesome. You're definitely not the first person to kind of have been a fan of the YouTube vids and only just now catching the streams. But I really appreciate it. Have you checked out the last couple of ones we've been doing? A lot of budget decks. Helped me get started a couple of months ago with a viable deck. Sweet, which one was it? Was it in Witchwood or Kobolds and Catacombs?
So many possibilities.
Into the breach.
Kobolds and Catacombs with the Tempo Mage. Yeah, that list was so sick. That was one of the first ones I did and I was so happy with And it's so easy to upgrade as well. Like, all you got to do is really chuck like the Alaneth in there, you know, get your primordial glyphs, and you're pretty golden.
So many possibilities.
Pulled Alaneth, and so you're playing Built the Deck. Favorite deck even now? Yeah, you've been playing it in Witchwood. No worries. I really appreciate you letting me know that it was doing some work for you, because you know that's why I put the decks together, is to help people out who you know, don't exactly spend heaps and heaps of money on the game and want to have something to, even if it's just to get their 5 wins every month for the card back, or even if it's just, you know, they're stuck at rank 20 and they just want to see some kind of progress. Like, those are the people that I really want to help out.
What to do?
If our opponent's tanking on like playing Jaina here versus maybe playing like a Blizzard or something, or Flamestrike trading with the Hooked Reaver. This is 15 damage, so they do have to respect it. Like we have lethal in our hand with Defender of Argus Hellfire. You appreciate it? Thanks. Thanks, HD Levs. Ah, you're warming my heart. It actually makes me like, I've been doing stuff for maybe they're just trying to burn us out, so we want to play our Jiraxis here. Get healthy.
You face Jiraxis, Eldar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Still died a double fireball, but I guess we were dead to double fireball the entire time. Yeah, when I started out doing stuff about 6 months ago, you know, I was fiddling around with things and streaming and doing some videos, but it was the first time someone said something similar, where they were like, oh, you know, just appreciate you putting a deck out there, etc., etc., that I was like, oh, like, I actually, like, really motivated me to keep going.
I wonder.
My shield for Argon. Job done.
Now we are dead to 1 fireball though, which does suck. Actually, you know what, the thing that's missing from this list that was a big part of the classic Handlock is Earthen Ring Farseer, and we see that replicated with Shroom Brewer in Evenlock. So we can silence our own Infernal here and get in for 6. 7, 8, 9.
Your magic shall not save
And I assume this deck has fireballs, and we're 1 in 7 to just die. Just crafted an even warlock and figuring out this handlock process. Yeah, it's one of the important things with even lock, or something that helped me a lot, was someone mentioning that even lock's not a control deck. Even lock is like a mid-range, almost tempo-y deck. So you're not really trying to overpower your opponent in the late game. You're actually trying to make a bunch of very strong plays in that kind of turn 3, 4, 5, 6 area, and using that to essentially snowball into a victory. The other thing that really helped is if you go to HS Replays, one of my favorite places, and check if you've made a deck that's based off of an existing one, you can find that deck in there, or just find a similar deck and check the win rates of the specific cards in the deck. Got him. Jaraxxus putting in some work there. Putting in some work. Back with another.
versus Malfurion.
Okay.
I must protect the wild.
Up against
Your soul shall
the
be
druid.
mine.
I think we'll hold on to this this mountain giant. Depending on how the game plays out. Could be alright, but seeing a lot of druids that are playing Naturalize, which is not a card that we want to see at all. The deck track has been helping a lot. Yeah, it's I could definitely be better with deck tracker, and also with tracking our opponent tracking our opponent's cards. But you know, we play the game for fun. Where I certainly don't claim to be the best player ever. So you know, I love using the deck tracker and just checking what's left in the deck. But we could certainly be better with other elements of the game.
I wonder.
Mostly play mobile, so don't rank well with it. Ah, yeah. I've always wondered. I'd love to see some data from Blizzard as to how many mobile players, like strictly mobile players, there are out there versus other platforms, versus PC and stuff. How many hours a week do you usually put in? I think we're about to get our heads blown off. I think I'm going to hold this Kobold Librarian in case they have Spreading Plague. Because without this Ancient Watcher being able to attack, it's actually a bit of a liability. Now's where we want our now's where we want our Siphon Soul or our powered up Spellstone. Huh. Does get upgraded. You're always so chill. That reminds me of Kibler. Kibler's a better Magic player than me. Thanks, I really appreciate that. I do watch a little bit of Kibler here and there. Mostly his highlights though. About an hour per day, which is mostly quests. Yeah, you just smash out the quests. Ooh. Interesting. Smash out the quests and get on with your day.
Possibilities.
My shield!
Done. Warriors of the frozen.
I do really appreciate that in Hearthstone you can stack up quests. See a lot of other games out there where you you have to log on every day and have to do those quests every day. And sometimes you just want to take a break, you know, chill out, play something different.
Into the breach!
Job done.
So unfortunately this makes it worse for Spreading Plague, but puts us in a position where we can tap and play a couple of things. This is really weird.
Spectacular. I concede.
But it just Army of the Deads and removes their all the best cards in their deck. But they got an Ironwood Golem. That's what counts. Someone clip that. That's great. Okay, we are back taking a look at Jeleniowaty's Handlock. We played a couple of games, and overall it actually felt pretty good. I was a bit suspect on how Jaraxxus would perform, especially compared to Bloodreaver Gul'dan, but did quite well. Looking forward to Gul'dan rotating so we can get some more Jaraxxus action, and also means that all the other Death Knights rotate, so, you know, comparatively as a late game card is a lot better. Other than that, I think the main things that I'd love to see in this list is a bit more healing. I think there are a lot of games, particularly against aggressive decks or even against other mid-range decks, just doing a similar thing where, we saw against that Evenlock where we're just put in a position where we're so far behind on health that it's hard to get back in the game. And Alexstrasza and Jaraxxus, even though they can heal you up to 15, if your opponent has an 8/8 and a 6/6 on board, that's not exactly where you want to be. So I'd love to see some healing in here. Obviously, we can play the new guy. What's his name? This guy. We can play the Shroom Brewer, but I think in the spirit of things, we probably want to play Earthen Ring Farseer. Play it a bit more classic. Maybe cutting down on these Ancient Watchers or something like that. Feels like these Ancient Watchers and Defender of Arguses are just a bit too cute these days. They don't have the same kind of impact as they used to. You know, if you consider that these, this was a big thing before we had, 4-mana 7/7s and, you know, that kind of stuff. Where like creatures, minions these days are just a bit chunkier, bit bigger. So yeah. Other than that, great deck. So if you've got all these pieces, I'd recommend trying it out. If you want a bit of a blast from the past, it's a great deck. And you know, looking forward to playing more with Jiraxxus once Gul'dan rotates out. Anyway, I've been Tommy Wave. If you're watching this video on YouTube, all the links will be down in the description, including a link to the deck on Hearthstone and the deck code. And also to Jeleniowaty's YouTube channel. You can go check them out. They make some fantastic content. If you want to get in contact with me, the best place to do that is on Twitter at Tommy_Wave. That's where I do most of my socializing. And I also have go live notifications up on there as well. If you've got a deck you want me to play, feel free to send it in through any of those means. But until the next time, hope you have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye.